screen instead of streaming. It's because I was hitting the share screen button instead of the streaming button.
We're now streaming live on custom live streaming service.
Great.
I don't think your, or at least my version of your stream has realized this yet.
No.
Oh, it has. Let me make sure I have a 0 sound on my phone.
Hey, Zara.
Hey, how are you?
You have some kittens photobombing?
Frequently.
Nobody has a kitty.
Yeah. This is Corey.
Corey wants to be a part of what you're doing.
Yeah, she's very involved. She wants the chicken salad you can't see out of the frame.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, they're new. We adopted them on Halloween.
Oh,
Well, congratulations.
Thanks. I figure Berek wouldn't mind kittens. He loves
No,
them.
No.
on the contrary, I think he'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There she goes.
Everybody's Twitch names have nothing to do with them.
If we're going to talk about pain inflicted by Twitch, it turns out I've grown accustomed to some
How does that work?
crookedness here that is flipped around in Twitch, which I can't look away from, so now I just can't look at it.
How is can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yes, we can.
How does that work? So there's people watching, but we have not. We don't know they're there.
If you,
We're only seeing each other on Zoom.
yeah, we're only seeing each other on Zoom, and then if you want the Twitch, if you open the Twitch stream, people can talk in the chat room.
To each other,
Yeah,
but they don't communicate in the Zoom.
correct.
Holy smokes, this is too high tech.
So,
Hi, Peter. Hi, Zara.
Hello.
Hi, people I don't know. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi there.
Hi, Becca, for doing this again.
At least here we are all conveniently labeled with our names on your screen.
Am I? Yep.
so,
So if I was to go, so I see. So if I'm to go here to do this, and there's a Twitch. Nah, it's not on our email, is it?
no, it's on what I posted on.
Oh, on the web, on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see
So,
what it looks like.
and
So do
once-
we know how many people are on that?
yeah, it has a user count. So I'm gonna give another couple minutes for people to join the stream, and then we'll get started. And once we get started, anyone who isn't talking should probably mute themselves so we
Yeah,
don't get
absolutely.
random sound.
So virtual meetings. Is it on yours or is it on Berek's?
It's on mine.
Yours. Okay, Rebecca Cook. 43 minutes ago. Billionaires. Strained myself. Yeah.
Oh, on my face. No, it's on Berek's Facebook. Sorry.
Becca,
understand
are
what you
you
meant.
saving the Twitch for like the video?
Yeah, I'm gonna export it to YouTube.
Okay.
And I'll put the link on his page.
Oh, did you do the last one like that?
No.
Okay.
No, because I have the Zoom call saved, but I'm not uploading that for public.
Well, I see. The broadcaster has indicated that this channel is intended for mature audiences.
That this channel is intended for mature audiences.
How about
That
that?
this channel is intended for mature
Mute the stream. Mute the stream.
intended for mature
Dan, mute the stream. Mute the
I
stream.
gotta get off that.
intended for mature.
I gotta get off that. That's crazy.
You have to mute the
Yeah.
stream.
Got rid of it. That's nuts.
Now it really feels like a work Zoom.
And it says funeral. Yikes.
Okay, I guess we'll get started. So if everyone can go ahead and mute themselves. So yeah, I'm Becca. Most of you know me. And we're here for Berek's memorial. People generally consider themselves lucky if they find someone who truly understands and loves them just exactly the way they are. Somehow I managed to find two people who did, who also came to love each other. Berek joined our family just under 4 years ago. He joined us at a time when I was a bit lost. I had quit working and was alone in the house during the days. When we first started dating, every time he came over was its own small miracle. He brought light and purpose into my life. When he moved in, there was more laughter in my home. He loved both Jason and I without reservations or conditions. We would talk about absolutely everything from random trivia to deep conversations about the meaning of life. He gave me a reason to be engaged in the world, but he also taught me more about being me. I was able to make public parts of myself that I had never dared express outside of my home. Over the last 4 years, we got the chance to do so many things. He took me to Disney World and taught me to love it the way he did, and then arranged for us to be able to keep going back. We went to Iceland, to Toronto, to Vegas, and New York, and even got to see Hamilton on Broadway. To those trips, he brought such joy and enthusiasm for getting to go do things that he thought he wouldn't get to do. We went to concerts, ate out at all the odd restaurants we could find. We lived and with him, I lived more thoroughly than I realized I could. With him, everything we did was a new adventure, an unexpected opportunity, a series of perfect moments in a horrendously imperfect world. The last 18 months were really hard on him. He lost so much and had so much terror, but he hated people saying he was brave. He was just doing what he needed to do to keep going. He felt knowing when to give up required being brave, and he wasn't ever going to give up. But he kept going no matter how bad things got. To the last minute, he never gave up trying to live and live fully. He was very excited about getting his new legs, about being able to walk around the house. One of the things he was most excited about was that being able to stand again meant he could give proper hugs again. He was relearning to climb stairs, specifically so that he could go over to our friends' houses when COVID was over to give everyone hugs and start playing LARP again. Everything for him was about doing what he needed to do to be around people again. In all the best ways, he was my complete opposite. He lived for being around his friends, and pretty much everyone he met was a friend and knew that he cared about them. He hated COVID because it took away his chances to be with his friends just as he was getting healthy enough to start being around people again. He loved freely, from people he met gaming to his doctors and nurses. He believed that people were innately good when given a chance and gave everyone he met a chance to prove him right. The last year strained some of that, not because of the many challenges in his personal life, but from what he saw in the world. But even then, it just led him to treasure his friends even more. He wanted to hold everyone close to him. He needed people like he needed food or air. What he didn't understand was how much we all needed him, needed the unconditioned and unquestionable love he radiated out into the world. Some people change the world by doing great things, others by simply being who they are. Berek changed everyone around him, more people than he ever stopped to count, just by being him. When Ruth Ginsburg died not too long ago, everyone was emphasizing that someone's memory being a blessing meant that their memory inspired others to be better, to be a blessing to the world because they lived. Berek was that. He made us stronger and braver, and most importantly, kinder just by being him. And now he's left us to carry his blessing out into the world. Jason?
Thank you. In a lot of ways, well, when we first met Berek, it was through LARP, and he pretty quickly became a linchpin of our community. In every community, there ends up being those little cliques that form, not even necessarily in a bad way, but just the people who tend to associate with each other all more often. And Berek always seemed to be the bridge between all those pieces. He kept us. He helped keep us unified. He helped keep us together. And in a lot of ways, he exemplified a lot of the things that I most admire. What my father taught me growing up was that being a man was not about bluster. It's not about machismo. And the things that Berek exemplified, as I knew him, were humor in the face of adversity, compassion in the face of hatred, patience in the face of chaos. And I know he didn't like people saying he was brave, but he had a strength to him. It wasn't the strength of a loud storm. It wasn't even the strength of a mountain. It was the strength of the ocean, just to persevere, to embrace, and to sustain everything around him. I wish I knew him better in a lot of ways, but he was one of those friends where everyone's life would be chaos, and we wouldn't talk for 3-4 weeks, and all of a sudden he'd pop up in my messages or with a text, just about something random. Hey, I saw this, I thought of you. He was always thinking of others, and even in his toughest times was reaching out and being that support for other people. He honestly was one of the best people that I've ever known. And all I can do is hope to do a little bit of what he did. Thank you. I am honestly not sure who's next, so whoever's up next can grab it.
I think it's Zora.
Yeah, it's me. Sorry. Berek was just turning 12 when I was born. We were blessed enough to share the same birthday. And I think that's probably, at least in my experience, my very first moment of knowing just how kind and how generous he was, because at least from my end, there was never any complaint that we shared a birthday, that I was muscling in on his day or anything like that. He was more than happy to have a cousin to call and say, hey, we were born today and we get to share this together. And I think that was one of the things that made him so special, was that it was never about him. It was always about everybody else. He could put aside everything that he was feeling if somebody reached out to him and said, hey, can we talk? I'm having a hard time right now. And it didn't matter how he was feeling. He could put aside everything to say, what do you need? I'm here for you. When I moved to Philadelphia, I had a really, really, really hard time. And within minutes of me posting anything on Facebook, he would text me or he would message me on Facebook and say, what do you need? What can I get for you? My first winter in Philly was really, really hard, and I wanted a weighted blanket. Within 3 minutes of me posting on Facebook that I would really love a weighted blanket, there was a link in my DMs, and he said, pick a color. It didn't matter how much it was. 3 minutes after I had said, hey, world, it would be really cool to have a weighted blanket, Berek said, I've got you. And he always had me. He bought me groceries when I didn't have money for food. He would text me when I didn't even know that I needed somebody to say, hey, are you okay? And that's just who he was. That's just who he will always be to me, is somebody that cares so, so deeply about those around him. We spent a lot of time together at family gatherings just because we were, aside from my sister, the closest cousins in age. And we became a lot closer when he realized that I was also really into comic books and RPGs and things like that. I was, I think, like 22 when I first got into LARP. Wasn't super long lasting, but I was really interested in it. And even though all of my friends could have been the ones to help me, I was like, no, Berek needs to help me with my first character. And so I called him and I was like, hey, we're doing this thing called Vampire the Masquerade, and I need help making a first character. I think that I want her to be a 11-year-old vampire. And he was like, that's a bad idea. That's not going to end well. And I said, I'm going to do it anyway. This is what's important to me. We had our first game, and they called him the next day and said, so that didn't go well. She's locked in a mirror. Can you help me with a new character? And he said, yes, I told you it wasn't going to go well. And it was just one of those things where he knew that if you came to him for advice, especially about a character or storytelling or anything of that sort, he knew that you wanted his opinion, but you weren't necessarily going to take it. And he was just happy that you wanted to know what he thought. And I know that I'm never going to get to ask him for help on a character again. But I know that every character that I make from now on will be something that he would have loved and that he would have really, really enjoyed hearing about. So maybe it's time for me to get back into LARP, because I know that's what he would have wanted. I don't really know what else to say. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I just really loved Berek, and he will always be one of my favorite people in the entire world. And every day is hard without him, but I know I'm gonna see him again eventually, and that's what matters. And I know that he's gonna be here for me until I do see him again. And I know that goes for everybody else that loved him and that he loved as well. Thank you.
Lucy?
Okay, I taped mine ahead of time because I know I won't make it if I try to go through just on the spur of the moment. So we're going to hope that all this technology works. And let's see. The first day of freshman orientation. Okay. I met Berek on the very first day of freshman orientation at Brandeis. I latched onto him because he stood out in the crowd, big beardy guy with reddish hair, and I could use him to make sure I was with the right orientation group. This backfired on me when we ended up next to each other at some boring speech by some important person, and he nodded off and started slowly keeling over sideways onto my shoulder. After he woke up, he apologized and we started to talk. He was from the fantastical land of Los Angeles, and we bonded over Oingo Boingo, Star Trek, and other nerdy stuff. We were pretty much inseparable freshman year, then added Anna to our ridiculousness our sophomore year. We were all housemates junior year, then life took us in different directions when Berek went back to LA and Anna and I graduated. Our friendship moved mostly to the internet, but every so often we'd manage to get together, sometimes even when nobody was sick. The memories that stand out are of us doing goofy stuff together, watching Saturday morning cartoons in his dorm room, running past campus tour groups while pretending to be Monty Python's Knights of the Round Table, attending, participating in, and then running the campus Rocky Horror Group, making snow angels on April 1st, the year Boston had a surprise snowstorm, watching each other play computer games, wandering the halls of a Las Vegas hotel, quoting Ghostbusters 2 and giggling madly. All our shared nerd stuff is a little uncomfortable right now, but brings back the good memories too. I'm gonna miss him forever. I'm not even sure who's next.
Michelle.
It's me. Sorry, the one with the technology problems. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, just making sure. Yeah, tape recording would have been a good idea. So I sat down and wrote this out, and I could not tell you when I met Berek. It felt like he'd just been a part of my life forever. And I racked my brain and I asked other people, I was like, when did we meet? It's been years. And that's how it was. He fit into my life so smoothly and so perfectly that I just could not recall a time before he existed. And that's how he's always felt in my life. Berek and I are huge Star Wars nerds together, and we always make a joke that we're the only Jedi in this whole group because everyone else is evil, Sith, all of you. And we you know, there's probably a few others in there, but we were the two who always said we would be the Jedi leaders here. We had plans to go to the new Star Wars. Oh,
sorry, the Zoom call dropped on my end, so like none of it broadcasted.
Okay, I mean, right. What should I do right now?
This is what happens when you say you have the technological problem.
I do. I'm sorry. I'm a curse.
I'm waiting for the stream to come back.
Okay.
That's what happens
I'm
when you
being
piss off
told
the
this.
Sith.